I went back and reclaimed myself. A survival brain will tell us to avoid the places where we were hurt, but a thriving brain asks something opposite. It asks that if we want to reclaim, we must return, not to relive the pain, but to change the relationship we have with it. Memorial Weekend 2022, I drove back into the desert, into landscapes where I once learned how to survive, to see if I could finally feel safe enough to just be. This is a story of one more dirt road. Welcome to my channel, This Way to Bliss, where I hike and explore and car camp in my hybrid SUV and heal through nature, one hop, skip, and step at a time. Hi, I'm Candace Shea Frazier. This is my story of growing through grief instead of giving up, resetting my nervous system, and breaking my addiction to chaos and confusion. Out here, I found the strength to keep going and the first sparks of balance, bliss, freedom, and fun after the fallout of divorce, loss, betrayal, and abandonment. I have so many adventures to share, so make sure you like, subscribe, and share with your friends. It really helps us out. Last week on episode 17.
Don't chase your bliss life, just live it. Live it and love it. Yeah, it's almost my birthday. It's Forest Friday in the morning. I'm in the forest camping. Ooh, can't wait to show you where I'm at.
Sometimes the call to transformation doesn't arrive as a loud moment. Sometimes it's a whisper, a quiet tug on the heart that simply says, go. No one planned my 50th birthday, so I listened to the whisper. I followed into the forest, camping at Calaveras big trees, grounding, giving thanks, remembering who I am before waking up the next morning and heading toward Yosemite. You see, for years, I chased love, I chased safety, I chased stability. On this trip, I wanted something different. I wanted presence. I wanted to mother myself, the way I've spent my entire life mothering everyone else. And I didn't know it then, but this was the beginning of a shift. From the hero's journey, the outward search, into the heroine's journey, the inward return to emotional wholeness. Yosemite for one, linked above.
Makes me so happy.
Some journeys begin in solitude, others begin in company. But the real test of healing is learning how to stay connected to yourself, no matter who is or isn't beside you. Memorial Weekend 2022, I packed the car again, not to escape, but to integrate what had already begun. Camping is rarely a straight shot. It's always one more dirt road, one more turn, one more stretch of dust before you reach the wild. If you've never been camping, let me paint you the picture. You load up your car with everything you think you'll need, pack too much, and somehow still forget the one thing you actually need. And then you drive deeper and deeper down rusty roads until the world gets quiet. The forest had reminded me who I was. Now the desert would ask a different question. Can you stay rooted in yourself even when the landscape feels vast and quiet? We start out in Hope Valley, where it felt like a threshold, not quite a forest, not yet desert. A place of spaciousness, a place of pause. A familiar place where I first began my solo car camping journey, bravely going into the unknown. No cell service, no Wi-Fi, no conveniences. Just me and whatever I had been avoiding. But also the gift of space to reflect and remember who I am and not just what I do. Also, letting go and being in the flow. Taking nature's example and implementing it into my own life in ways that allow me to feel balance, freedom, and flow. I've learned that the healing journey is not only not linear. When you return to wholeness, it's not something that always just announces itself dramatically. Sometimes it's whispering in these wide open spaces, asking us to notice what arises when there's nothing left to distract us.
Let's make some beans, shall we?
This trip wasn't just primitive or about being alone. It was about learning how to be with myself, without shrinking, without chasing, without abandoning my own presence, and most certainly without overthinking it, but just being in the flow of what feels most aligned right now. accepting every part of your journey as vital and alchemizing the ow to wow.
Heart shape. Heart shape. Heart shape. Heart shape. Heart shape. Ooh, but you want to see the grand finale of creme de la creme de la creme de la creme. Heart shape. I saw another. Oh, see? Oh, look. Heart shape.
With dusk upon us and the chill in the air, hung out around the campfire and did some stargazing before turning in for the night because tomorrow was going to be an early morning to get ready to go to the next adventure. What a beautiful sound to wake up to.
Oopsie. It's kind of rainy still.
Somehow I lost the footage of breakfast, but we hit Nevada and made our way to the Mount Whitney Portal because signs everywhere. There's signs, rainbow breaking up my mind. I don't know. Anyway, I'm not going to quit my day job because, yeah, but cool, right? As we drove south on 395, the landscape began to change. Trees giving way to rock, green to gold, containment to expansion. You'll see coming up. And the thing I saw was the desert doesn't hold you the way the forest does, but it does ask you to hold yourself. And this is where the nervous system tells the truth without noise and without distraction, without performing. Out here, I realized something important. A lot of the things that we buy for freedom can quietly become chains, chains to comfort, to security, even to our own stuckness. You see, freedom isn't escaping your life. Freedom, you see, is choosing in each moment what your bliss life looks like, what it feels like, and having the courage to live it. As the miles stretched on and I had few distractions, but just my mind and the road ahead of me, I could feel old patterns surface. The impulse to overthink it, over explain, overgive, even stay hyper alert in case connection disappeared. But this time, instead of reacting, I practiced staying curious, confident, and courageous. Which, fun fact, the three cancers of the mind are complaining, criticizing, condemning. And it's also a sign of survival brain. I saw this place and I had to stop and check it out, get out, stretch my legs, and take a restroom break. And wow, I used to try and fly fish those back in my old days in my early 20s and 30s. And I am always down for a little side exploration on my adventures. And the nerd in me loves learning about my surroundings, something that got me through my very dysfunctional, adverse, and difficult childhood. This cute little stop is called the Shingle Mill Flat Picnic Area, located in Colville off of Highway 395. Now, I have to say, the views that offered here at this stop in Bridgeport did not disappoint. You can see Mono Lake in the distance, and you can see 395 winding through that valley that we're about to drive down because that's where the road goes. just like the transformational journey. Sometimes it's windy and you won't see what's coming ahead. So you have to be aware of your surroundings, but in a way where you trust, not fear. Which I used to say was easier said than done, but what I discovered is that with action comes confidence, not the other way around. You can't get the confidence before you take the action. You have to expose yourself to it and then walk yourself through it to the other side. And I find that it's very worth it if you want to get out of survival mode and learn how to thrive. I wish I knew the story behind this little homestead, but I had to take a picture because it was just epic. Like all of the views off of Highway 395. Definitely road trip worthy. 10 out of 10 recommend. And definitely a place I will be returning back to in the upcoming season of 2026 camping, because oh my goodness, there's so many places down here to go explore. Like, I highly recommend checking it out. As well as this incredible area, the Alabama Hills, Lone Pine. This place holds stories for me. Years earlier, these landscapes were tied to a chapter of my life marked by fear, confusion, and survival. You see, trauma doesn't just live in the body, it imprints on places. Returning here wasn't accidental, it was reclamation. Even in my darkest seasons, there was still a spark, an ember of love and wonder that refused to go out. So I played a game with myself. What would my bliss life look like if I stopped seeing through fear? And I put on my wonder goggles, and through the lens of love, the truth appeared. I wasn't the same woman who once passed through these lands trying to stay alive. I was here now, grounded, aware, and self-sourced. And that's how reclamation works, not by erasing the past, but by revisiting it from a new frequency, a higher perspective, if you will. So as you go up Whitney Portal Road, you'll have this vast view of the Lone Pine Valley, and it is another epic space to go check out because the views are worth it. Seeing the mighty majestic Mount Whitney again, but from a healed place and not in a toxic stress response, I was able to really take in the beauty of this area and reclaimed parts of myself that had been missing since 2004. You might wonder why coming back here mattered so much. Like I said, the last time I was here was 2004. I came backpacking. I was inexperienced but willing, and at that time I didn't know that I had a heart condition, which made acclimating to altitude even more tricky. This backpacking trip would push me beyond limits that I didn't know that I could overcome. That's that sticky wicket of hindsight. You don't know it in the moment, but looking back, you do. So that night, after we made our trek up, we were in the tent. Something shifted. The person I was with became unsafe. And in that moment, lying in a tent at over 12,000 feet, I realized something that changed my life. Love should never require fear. I left this place carrying trauma I didn't yet have a language for. Coming back now wasn't about reliving it. It was about reclaiming myself. And in doing so, I realized I've been hiking my way home ever since. And nature has taught me a lot. What the desert taught me was patience. Everything grows slowly here. Nothing rushes. Cactuses cannot survive by force, but by boundaries. They hold water. They protect their core. They don't chase the rain. And I realized something here. Healing doesn't mean needing less. It means needing yourself more fully first. And the alchemy of our pain to pleasure will happen when we learn to become present, seeing the beauty, and transform our judgment into curiosity. And Alabama Hills here in Lone Pine has a lot of space for you to practice curiosity and exploration, and reclamation even. Way over there. Oh shit. It's like walking in an entirely different world out here, and it's really cool. Stay tuned because I think I'm going to go back down here for another trip coming up in 2025. I just haven't figured out when yet, but stay tuned. Oh, wow, look. Well, hello, Mount Whitney. There's some really cool history here too if you want to go look that up, but they've filmed several Hollywood movies here over the years. I'm on top of the world! Oh my goodness, this is so cool. There's just so much to explore here. Like, I am delighted but also overwhelmed. Like, which way do I go? What do I check out first? Ooh, there's a cave over here. Oh, there's one over there too. Like, squirrels. My ADHD brain was off the hook. Like, oh look, a heart rock. Look what we found. Hello in here. It's our hideout. Dun dun dun. Alabama Hills Trail Loop, or Alabama Hills Eye Loop. Wow, these are so cool looking, but I don't want to touch them, but wow. Like I said, the views, mind-blowing.
Look at that cave. Look, there's a cave. There's a cave over there. Like, there's caves over there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bunch of caves. Oh my gosh, there's caves. It's like Tatooine. Remember Tatooine from Star Wars? Where they first found Luke Skywalker? That desert planet. Oh, this is perfect. This looks awesome.
Indeed, very awesome. At this point, we were finding little caves everywhere, but also very necessary because that sun is beaten down and it is hot. When I was here in August of 2004, it was 100 degrees in the valley. It was crazy hot. Top of the world, yeah, yeah. Amazing.
Wow, wow, wow.
Ooh, let's go through here and see what we see on the other side. Same view, but cool spot. Ooh, it's even more spelunking time. Let's go see what we can find. Yep, always finding love.
Dun dun.
I truly love nature adventures. It is my bliss. So is writing and abstract art of any type, and sharing my golden heart. You see, on my journey, I realized that I had to build a life that actually matches who I am. And I found my namaste by walking the golden path to a blissed life. And it was a road less traveled from the dirt road of life's failures that I found my way. So if you're on a discovery path and reclaiming all the parts that you fragmented along the way, I encourage you to be patient with yourself, because I found the journey is the destination. My mantra was be love, be now, to alchemize the ow. With the sunset imminent, we made our way back to our campground and got set up for the evening and made some dinner and enjoyed the view. And look, a cloud that's shaped like Groot. And when I awoke at 4:41 a.m., a spectacular sight awaited me. Jupiter and Mercury meeting in the same sky. Expansion and communication and conversation. It felt symbolic. The expansion of my inner world finally aligned with my inner voice. I wasn't explaining myself anymore. I was observing and listening. Not chasing or controlling, embodying the state of being with me in that moment. Balanced, bliss, and free. As I broke down camp and packed up to head home, I was very grateful for the opportunity to reclaim parts of me that I had lost and to write new memories in the place of painful ones. Boots, braids, and another dirt road. From this trip, I returned home to myself, and my actual home was something quieter than revelation, but far more stable. The knowing that I can remain self-sourced, the knowing that I don't disappear when attention fades, the knowing that my nervous system doesn't need to brace for loss. This is what Mother May had been teaching me: how to stay, how to self-soothe, how to choose myself again, and again. That's why van life called me. Freedom of time combined with the healing power of nature feels like heaven on Mother Earth to me. I am home, HOME. I am heart-centered. I am in oneness with all that is. I am appreciating all that is majestic, mystical, and magical, and living in an enlightened mind, which means living in the higher mind of awareness instead of in the darkness of my shadow. This is the Namaste way, alchemizing the ow to wow. So after we did some more hiking at the Alabama Hills area and taking a little time for a picnic and really exploring the area, I felt alive more than I had in a long time. Nature is my happy place that puts a smile on my face, while it expands my grit and grace. Kind of like no longer being a sponge, but a cactus instead. Intentional, boundaried, and embodying the power of love is how I overcame fear. But first, I had to stop allowing my mind to narrow my now as wow reality. It was an invitation to expand instead of contract in the face of that uncertainty and the fear. Because happiness is a journey, not a destination, and your perspective is your superpower. We stayed late playing, so on the way home, the plan changed. It was getting late and it was still a bit of a drive, and I was tired, so we found a campsite and pulled over for the night. And I'm glad that I listened to that intuition and honored that request from my inner being.
Home sweet home.
And I noticed the shift. I wasn't gripping the moment. I wasn't scanning for reassurance. I was simply present.
There's water over there.
You see, in my bliss life, my day is my own. I am no longer trapped in the rat race of doing, but flowing, allowing, living as my divine aligned self. That's sovereignty. Being in flow with your inner truth is the harmony that shifts your outer truth. And likewise, the beauty that you find will be breathtaking, because you don't see your own beauty in the darkness, but once you awaken to your own inner light, everything becomes very clear. You've been living in your soul's dark night. I know there's a path here somewhere. I'll go down here and explore this water. Oh, there it is. That cloud looks like a monkey doing the face slap from Home Alone. What a peaceful way to start the day. I stopped here on the way home after we packed up and captured these very beautiful, epic views and realized that this was another chapter of my journey. Not the end, but a deepening. Because next, life would bring me something new to care for. Another being, another rhythm, another mirror. And before that chapter began, I needed to know I could be home with myself. This is the heroine's journey. It's not about escaping pain, but about becoming safe enough to stay. Looking back now, I can see something I didn't fully understand then. At the beginning of this trip, my nervous system was still on high alert, constantly scanning, overthinking, bracing. I thought something was wrong with me. You see, nothing was wrong. My body was just learning, slowly, that it was safe to stand down, that it was safe to be me, that it was safe to be seen, that it was safe to belong, and I didn't have to chase love, safety, or belonging. It was all within me. Thank you so much for being on this journey with me. When you come back for our next episode, we are welcoming
Mazzy. Mazzy, moo. Say hello. Welcome to the family.
Double Blessings, June 8th of 2022, a new kitten and a new grandbaby, and more epic adventures traversing the trail. You're not going to want to miss it. So make sure you like, subscribe, turn on your notifications, and share it with your besties so you guys can join me on the next trail. I'll be taking an adventure to South Lake Tahoe and Hope Valley for one last time before my new arrivals. I'll see you on the next trail. Stay sovereign, stay self-sourced, and remember, your heart is your home.